Hey, what's going on guys? Nick here with HN Entertainment's review for Hellboy 2019. Now this is of course the long in development Hellboy reboot of the franchise, as we all know that Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman's Hellboy 3 unfortunately never took off, and creator Mike Mignola decided to take the franchise in a new direction, thus rebooting it under Lionsgate and Millennium Films. This time it stars David Harbour, Mila Jovovich, Sasha Lane, Daniel Dae Kim, and Ian McShane. So right off the bat I can say that this version of Hellboy is trying to be much more faithful to the graphic novels if you guys are familiar with them. The setting, the characters, the sort of tone of it, the graphic nature of the violence, all of it is pulled from the comic books. But is that necessarily a good or bad thing? The problem with the film is that even though they try to play closer to the comics and stuff, it just feels like a cheap imitation kind of rip-off of the Guillermo del Toro version. It makes you kind of scratch your head and wonder why they even rebooted it in the first place if the version is kind of similar but has just varying differences to it. When we first heard that Neil Marshall was going to direct a Hellboy reboot, be rated R and darker and everything, the film was described as a dark horror movie featuring a bunch of monsters and stuff following Hellboy, so people got really excited because a pretty different approach to the source material than Del Toro's was. So there are elements in this film that I like, and there are elements that I really don't like. First off, I have to say Harbour is actually pretty fun in the role. He has a very different take on the character than Ron Perlman did, which is great because at least he's one of the elements that doesn't feel very recycled from the previous versions. Another standout for me was Ian McShane as Professor Broom. He's always a great character actor, so he really brings it to this role. He's a lot of fun as well, and some of the creature stuff was, I guess, kind of cool just conceptually to see, like the demons and stuff and Grugach, but beyond that, a lot of it was just sort of kind of lazily thrown together. It almost feels like one of those Resident Evil movies or something. It's just like, it is fun, it has like a fun tone, doesn't really take itself too seriously, but at the same time there's so many flaws with the movie, and the villains aren't compelling at all. Mila Jovovich plays Nimue the Blood Queen, and her motivation is basically, I hate humans because of what they did to me and I want to just destroy the world. And it's like, well, okay, I guess, but it doesn't really a compelling kind of motivator for the character, and it's not really a character that you can buy into as a villain and somebody that you can really see where they're coming from. So ultimately I'm gonna have to say that this Hellboy reboot is only for those of you who are like super hardcore fans of Hellboy. You should check it out because you'll probably get something out of it, if not a good time, just because like I said, there's some cool action set pieces and things like that, but beyond that it's just kind of whatever, paint by the numbers. I'm leaning on like a 5 out of 10 just because there are elements that I thought were kind of neat conceptually and fun, but at the same time it is just not a good movie overall. So if you guys got a chance to check Hellboy out, post your thoughts down in the comments below, but let's try to keep it as spoiler free as possible to preserve that first time viewing experience for those of you who do go see the film in theaters this weekend. For more updates on Hellboy and everything in pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.